So are you an engineer by profession?
Yeah, I work for a software company.
This is on the side?
Yeah.
On Saturdays, Sundays?
Yeah, this is on the weekends.
Wow.
So, so this is very important to us, okay, this part of it.
Yeah.
So this is I'm gonna talk to you about the Photoshop here, okay. So this is what the actual Photoshop would look like with the picture on it. There are two colors to Photoshop: the foreground color and the background color. So which is in the right side. So the top one is called foreground color. The bottom one is called background color. Okay, you can change the entire color of this space by just erasing this. Okay, we have something called magical eraser. See, all these tools are given over here. Okay, all the tool related configuration are given on top. Okay, so if I select eraser, I will get the tool configuration over here on the top. Okay, but we normally don't use the top panel, because we have all shortcuts down here. Okay, for example, you want to make this, you see the eraser size circle?
Yeah.
This is the eraser size. Okay, you can increase the eraser size or you can decrease the eraser size by using the curly brackets.
Curly brackets mean these two? Okay.
Okay, so I can erase lot of space. Now see, what is my background color?
Purple. Orange.
It is over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you
I
clicked
can
on
change
that.
the background color also. Okay. Background color. Okay. I can erase anything. I have something called magical eraser. The same thing, it's I have another option for magic eraser. It will check for the similar spots and it will delete it. For example, I'm using magical eraser. I can see that it has deleted everything which is white. Okay. Other color it left off, only white it deleted. Okay. So likewise you can do it. Now you want to go back. You can only go back once. Control Z only works one time. So you see that? We are stuck in this. Go back, come forward. Go back, come forward. There is no continuous go back. You can do it by going to history. In history, you have all the activities you did. But we cannot do too much of activity in history. You understand? Like for example, you are doing hundreds of changes and then you want to go back to the first change you made. Not the original picture, but the first change you made. You cannot do that. Because once 50 changes happens, the 50 changes before you did will be gone. Okay. So there is a problem. That's what we do. It's like you are having your $1,000 of worth of painting and you're trying to paint on top of that. Is it risky? Yes? Yeah. It is risky. So what would you do? You put a paper on top of it, a transparent paper, and then you do it on that paper, little bit, and then you got to a perfect state. Now if you do it on the same paper, you will mess it up more, right? So what you do is like on that paper you put another transparent paper, and then you do it on top of that transparent paper, and then you do it little bit, and then what you do? Again you put another transparent paper.
Like layer.
Yeah, like layer by layer. That's what we do in Photoshop as well.
So in history, these are the layers that you've done?
No, these are the activities I done.
Activities.
Okay. You see that these are the activities I perform. I used eraser, I used eraser, I used eraser. So each time I go back, you can see that the things I've done. Okay. This is the first time I used eraser, second time I used eraser, third time I used eraser, and fourth time I used eraser. Okay. So you can see that this is how I open the picture.
So you're doing
Okay. Now this is the layer I was talking about. As of now, there is only one layer existing by default, and that layer is locked. Okay. So now you want to put another layer on top of this and do the changes there. Very well. So what you have to do is like add a new layer.
How did you do that? Create new
layer. Just click on that and you will get a layer, transparent layer on top of it. Now you have selected that layer. You see that you are in layer 1. So you have selected that layer. So whatever you're doing will happen to that layer. So I'm using the magical button, nothing is happening because there is nothing on that layer to do with. What you can do is like you can duplicate the same thing. I can duplicate the same layer again. So I've created one background, and on top of that I created another background of the same thing. So you see that this is like you're seeing this.
Right.
That's what the eye symbol means. You're seeing this. If you click on the eye symbol, you're not seeing this. If you click on the eye symbol, you're not seeing this. What you see right now is a blank layer. Okay. So all this concept of drawing is being done on software so that it can be much easier for you, much effective. If you do in real life, you're screwed, right? But if you do it in software, you're not, because you can save multiple stuff at the same time because it's operating system software on top of that, right? So for example, now I'm not utilizing this layer at all. I'm not seeing this layer at all. So what I'm doing is like, I'm going to this layer and I'm removing the background. Now you see, this layer doesn't have the background, but this layer has the background. When I put them together, you see the whole thing. But when I remove this, you don't see anything. I can use this technique to grab those things which is not part of the previous layer. You understand? You can do so many things with this technique. I can isolate these beans alone with the shadow, just by having the layers separated, two different layers. You understand? There's so many things you can do with this layer thing. But normally, I will show you one of my thing which has like that much layers. I have this thing called designing. I do a lot of designing here. So I will show you one of my picture which I've designed. I think this whole thing is. So this is one of the picture I've created with multiple layers. Okay, so this everything is a layer. So can you count how many layers would be there in this picture? But just by looking at the picture, how many layers you would think we would have here?
Lots of layers.
5 or 6.
Tell me the number.
This only I feel there are about 5 layers.
Okay.
Then you've superimposed.
Mm-hmm.
So in superimposed,
Let's count the number of layers over here. 1, 2. More than 50 layers would be there actually. If you count all, right? More than 50 layers would be. See that? Because everything is here is a layer. Because I don't want to spoil my picture, so this is a layer, 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 this is a layer. So what is the advantage of creating each different layers? It's like I can import and I can export this one layer to another picture. For example, if I create it as one picture, right? When I export this, when I drag and drop to another picture, everything comes there. But I don't want everything. I want only this word. So I go to this word by selecting this particular line. Okay.
this shake versus swish.
Yeah. So I search for that line over here. Either I search for it, or click on this. I put the mouse pointer.
It takes time to get familiar with the tools, no?
Yeah. So you see here, I've selected this. I've selected the text icon and I've selected this word. So you can see that I went to that layer. So what I can do is I can drag this layer to my another Photoshop and put it over here. and then I can use this tool to move around. I can use text to edit that tool to a different color. Go to foreground, change the color of this. It's not bleeding. It's not updating for some reason. I think I've modified it here. In effects, I've made it like that. Yeah. What I did is like in FX is there, right? So you can just double click this object and you get FX. So here I've given this color as a primary color. That's why it was coming like that. So when I change it, you can see that it has changed as well. Okay. So I can import and export the objects from another picture also using these layers. Because I have layers, so I can just do that. Okay. So like this you can create multiple layers, but you need a lot of patience and you need to have an idea how your design is going to be and stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of practice.
Yeah, it will come when you start getting real assignments, right? You don't have a way, you should do it. There's no other way for you. When there is no option, you will get that inner strength to do it.
Yeah, actually, the first thing is to be able to, like, the first
Yeah,
phase you
that's
took
what
us
I'm gonna give you today.
edit photos.
See why I decided like this is one editing and then photograph. Like for example, today we have editing now, and after that we have portfolios. Previously, I had one class running portfolios and then editing, but I thought no, it's not gonna be like that, because first thing I'm gonna teach you how to edit the picture, and then I'm gonna let you take some picture. And once you take those pictures, you're gonna go home and use the same way I taught you to edit it. Because if I keep it the other way around, you will ask me to edit it myself. But I don't want to do that, because I want to show you an example picture, how to edit a picture. Then only you can edit by yourself. So that's what you have your assignment, that you go home today and then edit the picture and come back, send it out to me.
Edit it on our Photoshop or whatever.
Exactly.
Whatever enables our comp.
No, only Photoshop or Lightroom.
Only Photoshop or
Lightroom.
Lightroom.
Okay. So I will tell you how to fix this. Okay, there are so many tools over here. You see that? Some are like for selections, some are like for cropping. This is for cropping.
Yeah, this cropping though is there in all the programs.
Yeah. So you can see then. So like I'm making this 10% here, 10%. So it looks straight. Okay. And then this is color selection. So you want to select a specific color.
So it comes here.
Yes. Foreground color.
And then how do you select from here?
Nothing. You just don't have to select anything. You can take the paintbrush. You can select the foreground color, and then put it on this. Do you get it? You don't wanna paint it on everything. You wanna select an area and then paint it on that. That also you can do. See this? This is the selection thing. Okay, you see this dragging thing? This is basically selection. So I'm selecting something. You see that? I'm just ignoring it. By pressing Alt, you will get the alternative. I'm ignoring all those things, areas. It's hung. Do you see that?
It's not moving, your mouse.
No, it's moving, but it's hung.
So then what happens? You have to wait a while.
You have to wait.
What is the RAM capacity in this?
12 GB. I'll show you my processor. It's done. Okay. Still hung. This is is why I said we need a desktop for it. If you put the same thing in laptop, it will take huge time. So it's done now. Okay. So select it. If you have patience, you can go and you can deselect this area slowly. Right? And then you can select this area. Like that you can do it. Now you've selected this one, right? You can also invert select it. Invert means after selecting, you can change the selection to upside down. For example, this area is selected, right? Now what people does is like, if you have a huge area where you want to select, okay, what they do is like they select the small area and then invert it. And what will happen? It will become the huge area will be selected, the small area will be deselected. Okay, likewise. So now I have selected the huge area and I'm taking my paintbrush and I'm putting that color over here. Now you can see that only on those selected areas it's applying. That's the use of selection. Do you understand how this is working? Simple. Yeah. So in this way I can select an area and then make a adjustment to that area only.
Just do this one tool again.
Yeah, sure. Go to history. You'll be able to see entire thing. So first cropping we did, and then quick selection, selecting slowly, and then completely coming to the full selection. And after that we are taking the paintbrush, we're selecting the foreground color, whatever the foreground color you want. If you're not sure about the color, you want the color over here, right? You can even sample them. You know, when you take it outside your mouse, it will sample the color. You can go for cheese color, butter color, okay, like this is white cheese color, and then click on that, and then click on this.
And how did you use the brush to do this outline? Just show
brush, paint brush, paint bucket brush. Select that and then select this layer. That's it.
Okay. So it outlines it like a pencil.
Yeah, exactly. You can even more select it patiently. If you have patience, you can do little more of that. Okay. Now let's go back to how to edit this stuff. Okay. There are a few methods you can edit this stuff. Okay. You can select and then edit it. Like I said you before, you have quick heal. Quick heal is the band-aid symbol. You see the band-aid symbol? So what this will do is like you can increase and decrease size of the same key. Okay, remember the same key. You can use that key to increase and decrease the size of the bandage. Why? It's not working. Okay. So bandage is like to do an immediate fix.
Like an eraser? No.
No. Bandage is just to fix your image from the bottoms and stuff. But you see that there is some irregularities.
Some shadows.
No, it is copying from here and here. Okay, it's confused what to do. Okay, so in that times you cannot use bandage. You can use bandage over here, over here, over here, over here, but you will see some irregularities when you go to the edge. So what you need to do is like you have something called clone stamp. Now what's the use of the clone stamp is like it will clone a location. Like for example, I'm selecting the clone stamp and I'm cloning this location. I'm pressing Alt to select which location I need to clone. Okay, and then it will clone that location over here. For example, I want to have another bread over here next to it. So what I do is like I clone that. So you can see that it follows me. Wherever I go, it follows me. See that? The one below me, it's following me. You can do easy adjustment with this, like you see a girl not wearing properly clothes, something is missing. So you can use that clone stamp to take a sample of one place and you can put it on the side of it.
But it has to be adjacent to that.
It could be adjacent to that or it could not be also. See that I'm taking from here, I'm cloning it from here, I'm putting it over here.
So
you will get it when I go bigger. So I'm going bigger, okay? You can see that. You see that? I can take the entire thing only.
Oh wow.
You can clone anything. Do you understand?
Yeah,
you can use it for different reasons. You can make multiple eyes also.
So this comes from the bandage tool.
No, this comes here. This is bandage tool, right? This is clone stamp. Just mouse over it. You will get to know what it is. Just mouse over it. It will tell you clone stamp tool. It will tell you eraser tool. Okay, and this is the paint bucket tool. And then this is smudge tool. There are 3 tools here: blur tool, sharpen tool, and smudge tool. What you know what is blur tool, right? See, in sharpening, you were smoothing up. Like there was an option in details called noise reduction. When you enable the noise reduction, it is applying to everything in the whole picture, right? But you don't have to do that. You can go to blur tool and then go to that object which you want to blur, and then just mouse over like 2-3 times. You can see that it's blurring. Can you see it's blurring? You cannot actually spot it. But you go to clone tab and come to blur. You see the difference now? Yeah. Likewise, you can blur a specific area. Or also you can do one more thing. Smudge tool I really like. Sharpen tool is opposite of blurring, so I don't have to explain that. So smudge tool is really nice because it will smudge the picture. See that? Yeah. Okay, it will use for different reasons. Why we use a smudge tool? For example, sometimes some hair and all will be like here, there, and will not be soft. So what we do is like we use smudge tool to smudge it off a little bit. You know, it will like smooth looking one. So likewise we can do it. Like, and
then you don't have to save it. It just goes into your history.
Yeah, it goes into your history, but don't believe in history. Create layers and do it on that. Okay. You should create layers and do it on that. So the same thing what I did for smudge, right? I will do it with layers. You just see, I'm creating another layer on top of this. I'm selecting that layer. Okay, I'm using the smudge tool now. I'm not able to do that. Sorry. You have to convert it to smart object and then do what I think. No, it's not working. You need to make a duplicate layer, then only you can do it. Like we did it before, right? Duplicate layer. In that you can do it. You can make a duplicate layer and do it. I mean, a new layer is basically if you wanna do a new stuff. Like you want to import another stuff on top of that you want to do, then you can do a new layer and do it. But as of now, you can just do it in this whole layer itself. I think it's just a trial and run, right? Yeah, pretty much that. Any questions still here? So what I'm going to do is like I'm going to go to clone stamp, reduce the size of it.
So whenever you open this image, all this comes up.
Yeah.
You don't have to save any particular layer or anything.
No. See, this is in the shadow layer, right? So if I go smaller, right, I can go to the pixel level. You see the pixel level? So just take a sample over here. Yeah, it's gone. You should take it something nearby, okay? Or else it will start creating difference in your picture.
What is the tool you're using?
Clone stamp.
The clone stamp. Almost like an eraser you're using it, huh?
Yeah. I'm not patient, but yeah, you can do it more nicer.
Yeah, then otherwise that area will look too bright.
Yeah. See? Now it's gone. Here also same thing. Just go to pixel level. Clone the nearest one.
How do you do the pixelation by this all?
Just zoom in. All zoom in, zoom out. Okay. So that's it. So just like need more patience for this. Okay, so just take this something from here. Okay. See, that's almost gone. Okay. So now it looks fine. Okay. Perfect. There's something over here.
Yeah.
Okay. You can also do one more thing. You can make this also this thing also go away by just check for a sample location where it looks good. So you can just sample it out completely. So just make it bigger.
What are you doing exactly?
I'm just sampling outside also. I'm just sampling it outside.
With this clone stamp?
Yeah, everything with the clone stamp.
So you're removing some of the shadows.
Yeah. Okay. See that? Let's just do this.
All with the alt and the
Alt,
and the
holding
click.
Alt, I'm able to clone an area. I'm able to clone an area. Once I clone the area, I apply it. I don't go too much because what happens if I go too much, I hit the beans. So I have to do it like over and over again. See, I'm hitting the beans, so I'm replicating that beans also. Okay. It follows me, right? So be careful about following me. With more patience, you can get it like much nicer.
So when you're moving it, you're pressing the key down, Alt key.
No, Alt key to take an example of it, and then going about it. So you can see that I'm spreading the same whiteness everywhere. That's the whole agenda of doing it. Okay, it's all your key press. Alt is to sample. Select the sample and go to the area and release the sample. Select the sample, go to the area, release the sample. Select the sample, release the sample. Select the sample, release the sample. That's it.
Release means just releasing the
just
pressure.
holding it and applying the sample. It will take time to get you adapted to it, but yeah, eventually you will get adapted to it. It's very easy actually. Before it is like all tough and stuff,
Yeah.
but the moment you start doing more and more,
But tell us, is there any place that we can sort of learn on our com? Do a sort of a tutorial with somebody?
What do you want to do? I don't understand.
Exactly what you showed us. Work on our com. But instead of having an online tutorial, you have somebody to explain it to you. You know, like what you're doing on your com.
You want to do it in your computer.
Yes.
The thing is, like, you cannot do this in the speed of what I'm doing. Okay, you can also try it now. See if you can do it. You will not be able to do it in the speed because it will apply for some time, and then it will take time. So it will take huge amount of hours for you. So it's best that you check this video out and then try to understand. Like, for example, even how I try it, I'll tell you. I first see a little bit of it. Try to replicate the same thing on my computer, and then see a little bit of it, replicate on computer. Little bit of it, replicate on computer.
You mean
even
yours or the tutorial of Photoshop?
You can use mine itself. I have so many tutorials here on my YouTube channel. If you go to GeeksIdea Photography, you have
Can we try doing one image on our comp now?
Yeah, try it. See, all the tutorials are there. These many are there. Editing. Everything is like editing people, editing pictures. Same thing.
Okay.
So every session lasts like 1.5 hours or something. See,
yes, suppose you give us
step
this.
by step.
Yes.
See, for example, it's all recorded with the people, with me. Same thing. You just open your computer on the same thing, just do whatever I'm doing. That's it.
Yeah.
The problem is like why I don't incorporate people doing with me is like Photoshop is an awful tool. It will take long time. That's what I'm telling you again. That's the only reason I'm here in my computer to do this. Even you saw how much time it took sometimes, right?
Yeah.
It takes sometimes a pretty long time. So just follow this and do this. It's much easier.
So just follow yours or any photo editing?
Any photo editing, but if you follow mine, you would understand it much better because this is what we do on a normal basis. See, this is the same thing, what I've showed you. So here we are editing this picture, we are creating a signature. How do we create a signature? Just step by step.
Okay.
See the smudge tool. This is the smudge tool.
Yeah.
So, that's what we do for hair correction and all. This is for different.
When you're practicing, how to sort of see the video and practice? Just minimize.
See this. You see that spread? Yeah. So likewise, like you can do certain funny things with that. See that spread, how it is happening. See, his hair was standing here and there. So when I use this smudge to pull it down, it was all equalized. These are some of the tools which we normally use. This is gradient tool. This is like edit, and so likewise, creating signature, exporting it. This looks nice, right? So I want to only update this picture. So all the videos are available for free. Okay? It's not charged. You don't have to subscribe or anything. You can just watch this and do this editing just by yourself.
Okay, so this is the GeeksIdea photography. This thing. Okay, one question, Venkat.
Yeah.
Go back to your home page, suppose.
Home page as in this
home
one?
page as in not Adobe. your folders.
Folders. Let me go.
Okay. Now, suppose you go into your folders. Yes. Suppose I've gone into my pictures like this, and I want to edit. So suppose I take this 703. Now just open it on your Adobe.
Photoshop. You have to check if it's a JPEG or any file.
Okay, so
whenever you see raw file, then you can open it like this. You should not open it like this because it will open inside the picture. You should open it like this.
Do it again. Do it again. Go back to that page. Or can I not do the file and then open it from here?
Yeah, you can do that.
File, open.
Yeah, it's another way of opening it.
Oh, this is one way of opening it.
Yeah.
And then you save it. Every time you can save it also.
Save it. You cannot save it here because you have a snapshot. You should save it as a snapshot. Remember we spoke about snapshot, right?
Yeah.
So here you're configuring it. After configuration is completed, then you can open image. And once you open image, then only you can save the image. Like file, save as PSD file, Photoshop file.
Okay.
Okay.
So
once you save it as PSD file, then you can open that in Photoshop again and again.
Okay.
Okay. But you are gonna save it as a JPEG file.
Yeah.
When you save it, it will ask you already file exists. You want to replace it? Yes. Now it is asking you want a small file or a large file. Here only the export option is coming.
So that means you save as a JPEG, but you keep your original as RAW.
Yeah.
But then you have worked on that RAW image which you want to save.
No, you don't have to save. See, raw
Can
file
you save
should
two
be
images?
Raw file should be as it is clicked.
A
A Photoshop file will be as you edited it.
And put it in
A JPEG file will be the one you will be sending it to people.
So that means you have two more files created.
Exactly. So one raw file, one PSD file, and one JPEG file.
The PSD file. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is your touched
Editing.
up file for your
See,
RAW.
if I go to my the design folder,
Just take us back to this. Okay, so
design folder, right? You will see all PSD files.
Yeah.
Because this picture is a JPEG file. Okay. See this one you see over here is a raw file. This one here is a raw file. So in a PSD file, I can put multiple raw files together with other things, other layers, and I can make a PSD file. Do you understand?
So PSD is basically a
Photoshop file.
Yeah.
Which can have multiple raw files inside. Which can have multiple JPEG files inside. It can have multiple things inside the PSD file because this is a Photoshop file. Photoshop file can have anything inside that. Okay, and from the Photoshop file, we'll be exporting it as a JPEG like this.
Which is a ready image.
Which is a ready image which you can use for printout and other stuff.
Yeah.
You understand? But this is also a Photoshop file. This is also a JPEG file which is generated from Photoshop file. But if you see, this is an image which is a raw file. This is something. This is also image JPEG file. This is JPEG file. This is JPEG file. So you will have multiple types of files inside, but you will end up having one PSD file which has all the components inside. So once you load all the components inside the PSD file, you don't need that file. Like you have created 3 raw files, and the 3 raw files are inside the PSD file. Okay. What happens if we delete this 3 raw file? Nothing will happen because it's already imported to PSD file. PSD file is big enough. Now you can see the size of the PSD file.
And PSD can only be opened on Photoshop.
Of course. The Photoshop file it is.
Yeah. So when you've got your raw files in your PSD files, suppose you got mixture of 3-4 raw files in your PSD, but you always keep your original raw file.
Of course, because the raw file should not be modified. Do you understand? But what is edited file is the PSD file. And when you export the edited file, it's called JPEG file.
So PSD is a high resolution one. It's 10
Raw
MB.
file is basically the high resolution which has all the details. From that you're creating a PSD, From that you are creating a JPEG. If you see, the least quality is JPEG, and before that you will have PSD, and before that you have RAW file, which has all the information.
Now, how do you, once you worked on it and you put it in a PSD file, how do you save it?
Just save it, that's it. So you're done with this picture, right? So just Alt Fs. Alt Fs, or go to
Alt. How do you do this Alt Fs on your keyboard?
Alt Fs.
Oh, okay.
This will also one method of saving it, or just go to save. It will ask you what format you want to be saved it in. Okay, you can choose a Photoshop file itself. Photoshop, where is it? PSD file. Okay, and save it as the PSD file itself. The beautiful thing about PSD file is like you just don't need one picture. You can also create multiple pictures. Like,
so you create a PSD file and you create a JPEG file. So it creates 2 more images from the original.
See,
image.
I'm importing another RAW file here. Okay. So how many RAW files? I have 2 RAW files here. One is over here and one is over here. Okay, I can just save this as PSD file.
How did you select that PSD?
Just select it from your PSD. And then save it as PSD file. What will happen? Both the RAW files will be in the same file. Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
You're understanding?
Yeah.
So when you close it, it will ask you whether you want to save this PSD file. No, I'll just say no. Don't save anything on NEF file, because NEF file should be pure and not edited, because a lot of competitions, whichever happens, if you're planning to sell your pictures, you need to have the original RAW file, which is how it is clicked. And soon we are starting 2 things. One is like we are planning to start the selling of the pictures online. We're also starting the videography training. So first will be the video song we're gonna take. So it's gonna be only for limited people. It's like invitation basis. I will send out the message today evening or tomorrow, and people who's interested to be covering a video shoot, they can come next week someday, Monday or Tuesday.
So you'd be basically teaching us how to take a video.
Yeah, video song.
Video song.
Yes, there'll be an artist dancing, and we have different locations. We have different things. So we will be going to the location. You can get your camera, because I know you don't have equipments, but I have 2 lights. I will be bringing 1 light, and I have this thing. This is the gimbal, basically a stabilizer. This stabilizes the camera. So this is something which you can use for videos, because in video, if you see in real time, right, it'll be like non-shaky and stuff, because they use this kind of.
But you've got to have the video option in your camera.
It's yeah, you don't have.
Yeah, I don't have. No, but tell me another thing. Do you also do a class where you take a video and then compose a song in the background or something?
Yeah, that's what we will be doing right now.
But you are already taking a